Good day and welcome to Caribbean Connect. I am Kimberly Ramkalawan. Today I have with me Jamaican Foreign Affairs Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith. She is here in Paramaribo, Suriname for the 43rd CARICOM regular meeting of CARICOM heads of government. Welcome and thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Indeed, we're happy to have you here taking time from all the plenary sessions. So we just wanted to get an idea as to what exactly some of the topics that are being represented at CARICOM level that you would like seeing that takes particular interest for Jamaica.
Okay. Well, on the topic of the CSME and making progress in the CSME, that has been paramount for us. We believe in particular that free movement of people is one of the most significant ways in which Caribbean people experience CARICOM. And we know that there is often a great divide that in many Caribbean countries, and they don't understand what CARICOM is. But when you speak about the opportunity to live and work in other neighboring countries, that they understand. So on the sort of making progress on the regime for skill certificate applications, as well as the recognition of the 10 categories, plus the new 2 categories that were agreed a few years ago, that has been a bit of a challenge for us. We are pleased that there has been progress made, and we know Trinidad, for example, recently passed legislation to recognize the 10 categories, 10 supplemental categories. And we are hoping to leave this meeting having made progress on the 2 additional categories, which are, of course, agricultural workers and security workers. We know that these are areas in which a lot of people seek work and in which work is often needed across the Caribbean. And we think that if we were to have of this meeting, it would be positive for us.
Now, I know the CSME is just one of several areas that are at the plenary sessions, and agriculture is also taking precedent, especially after what President Irfan Ali, Dr. Irfan Ali, and Prime Minister Mia Motley would have championed in May earlier this year in Guyana. Just tell me a bit about what is Jamaica's role or intention to even support this agriculture initiative?
Right, Jamaica is a member of the Ministerial Task Force. This has been a priority that has been put forward before me. And President Ali, has been really a fantastic champion of making progress in the agri-security, food security, and the agri-technology sectors. In fact, I was very pleased to be present with a strong delegation from Jamaica for the Agri-Investment Conference in Guyana last month. So where I think an excellent job was done by Guyana in pulling together not only heads of the region, but pulling together academia, investors, and participants in the agricultural sector, young people and women, to decide how is it that we are going to move to achieve the 25 by 25 initiative. That is the reduction of our import bill by 25% by the year 2025, as well as, of course, dealing with just the fundamental issue of food security that has been made clear to us as a real issue coming out of not only the COVID pandemic, but also the supply chain challenges that have arisen from the conflict in Ukraine. So we think a lot of good work has been done. Jamaica has been a part of the work with, as I said, Minister Charles Jr. represents us on the Ministerial Task Force. Before him, Minister Floyd Green, who held the portfolio, was a part of the task force, has been driving the work, looking at climate smart technology, looking at including more women and young people in agriculture, looking at how it is we can facilitate entrepreneurship in areas of organics and other niche high value elements of agriculture. I did have the opportunity to see some of it firsthand in Guyana, one of the shade house projects that the government is rolling out there. Jamaica has something similar at home. So there's a lot of work being done, and I think indeed this is one of the positive sparks. I know President Ali will present on progress during the course of this meeting. And I think there'll be some further discussions about next steps coming out of the conference and for member states going forward.
Now, you're here representing Prime Minister Holness, and he would have come recently from the Summit of Americas in Los Angeles, where he would have championed your resilience model, the tourism model, and also agriculture is intrinsic. He has been pushing agriculture as being intrinsic to the tourism industry, something that a lot of leaders are recognizing the link between agriculture and tourism. Uh, can you give us an idea as to the link and how you all intend to push this link with tourism and agriculture, or even this model, resilient corridors model, among CARICOM states?
Sure. In respect of the linkages between agriculture and tourism, what we have established in Jamaica is a quote unquote linkages council. So it's a council that's comprised of stakeholders across private sector, in the tourism sector, as well as in the agricultural segment and the related areas, that is employers and employee representatives, so that we can more directly connect farmers with buyers fundamentally. So it's one about supporting the farmers in terms of their capacity to produce and their capacity to produce high quality, high quantity, and the regularity of their production, because that is what hotels require in order to buy. They usually import because they are able to contractually demand accountability in respect of those four elements. So what we've been trying to do in Jamaica is to ensure that our farmers are able to deliver in the way and in the amount and with the regularity that's required by hotels. And by doing that, and including entrepreneurs, so that you are able to bring in your craft persons and your micro businesses that produce your niche organics, etc., and develop their sauces and spices, that you're able to bring them all together to support the tourism industry, so that the tourism industry also supports agricultural industries. That is agriculture and the agro-processing that comes as a result of that. So that is the model that we have developed. We have an exchange that allows farmers to post their products for availability, so that you remove the middleman and reduce, therefore, not only the time that it takes for them to be paid, but also the cost that hotels pay, because you take out one layer of that process. So this is a model that we're absolutely willing to share across the piece. And in fact, there may be discussions with one or two countries who are interested in it, but that's what we're doing in Jamaica.
I'm talking about other countries. You're the Foreign Affairs Minister. And this year, CARICOM's meeting seemed to have attracted and drawn a lot of attention from international bodies. We have the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres here, as well as representatives from Saudi Arabia and the African Pacific States Organization. Tell me how significant you see this at this time, at this juncture, following 2 years of the pandemic, and with CARICOM at this point.
Well, I think it's positive. I think it's significant that the region is recognizing that the body that is the institution of CariConnect, in order for it to continue to optimize its engagement with other international organizations, can only enhance the outcomes that we engage in here. So having the UN Secretary General here, I know he was supposed to be present in Belize and could only attend virtually because of some developments related to the war in Ukraine. But he still made the time to come here. We take that as a positive signal of the value of CARICOM to the UN, and an expression of respect and regard. Of course, the issues primarily discussed with the UN were around climate finance and climate action, issues which are as small island developing states and low-lying coastal states. And similarly with the OACPS, we've been discussing matters in relation to our cooperation with the EU, which of course takes place through the development agreement with the OACPS, and other matters related to our multilateral engagement. I'll say it's a very broad scope. Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us here on Caribbean Connect and taking time from your busy sessions. We know there are a number of topics and plenary sessions ongoing. You all and thanks for joining us here on Caribbean Connect.
No, thank you for having me, and thank you for your interest.
Well, we wish you a very fruitful discussion going forward over the next few days.
Thank you.
And for the benefit of Jamaica and CARICOM. to give our Prime Minister Holness our regards.
I will. Thank you very much. And he did send his apologies. Of course, he had some pressing last-minute issues because he was scheduled to come and to lead the delegation to participate virtually in some of the segments. But he has expressed his apologies directly to President Santoki, of course.
Thank you for taking the time and representing the Jamaica
Thank
country.
You. Appreciate it. Thank you.
And thanks for joining us here once again.